Good evening, everyone. It is again October the 15th, 2025. I decided I needed to put up this video as well today. In the fact that I had filmed this on August the 31st. It was a pretty horrific street attack where several individuals, including homeless people, were targeted and stabbed and injured and attacked. One person did eventually die in this, and it brings forward the thing is I've been putting in, even in my last videos on the home invasions, where are people safe? If you're not even safe in your own home, and you kind of expect not to be safe out on the street. And of course it also leaves our homeless people who are very vulnerable to these attacks as well. And I think it's extremely important that we recognize that we all need to look after each other, in the fact that if you see something on the street or you see something with your neighbors that doesn't look right, or something that you drive by and something might even look like a home invasion, you need to call it in, whether it is or it isn't actually happening. So sometimes it's better to call in a false alarm and not have something happen. And you may look foolish if there's nothing actually going on, but I think it's really important that we really look into this and start realizing that the only way we're going to even maybe start to get a bit of a handle on this crime that is happening is to start really looking after one out for each of us. And I mean, I keep saying it over and over. I know I'm starting to sound like a record on repeat, but it's extremely important that we start learning how to look after one another. And it wasn't just, this incident happened in Toronto on August the 31st, and then early last week, I didn't get the video for it, but there was another, apparently a woman, that's who the suspect was. It was apparently attacking people again, but it was in Vancouver on the streets there, and was apparently stabbing several people as well. And I know she was, they put up the video of this woman walking, that she was a suspect. I'm not sure if that was a suspect or not, but I do know that yesterday I heard just an update on that one, that that they had caught a suspect in what was on the attacks in Vancouver. But it's, even our children, I mean, are they really safe in school because of the school attacks, like the Sandy Hook and the Columbine, for two examples in the States? And we keep seeing things like this rising constantly. Where are we safe? And we all need to look at how do we keep each other safe. And I think that's what it's coming down to. It's the police are short-staffed, that's obvious, and the crime rate is just rising and rising. It's also shocking, as people said, because it's the youth, like the one that was charged for murder in the end, for the one in Toronto here. The video that I'm going to put up was only 12 years old. And it just seems like crime is on the rise, because it's certainly easy pickings. And apparently one of the victims, they tried to steal a phone from as well. And then it was a couple of police officers that caught up with the two suspects that apparently were randomly going around on the streets of Toronto attacking people. So our society really has to take a look at itself, not from the outside in now. I think we have to look at it from the inside out. What is the problem here? And one of the things that I have been expressing is community is so important. We need to come back to community on caring and sharing for one another again. So I know this is one of the things that in our own community here, we're starting to look at that more. And I think it's something that's by knowing your neighbor, and it's coming around. And it's nice when I go to my community meetings and people are all there and we're sharing our information. When I come to the meetings and we're once a month, what's happening in our street here, or what's happening in this part of our ward here, how can we make things better? And by being able to talk to our city councilor, our police that show up at the meetings, trying to do something about it, expressing our concerns certainly, expressing ways of, can we do this or can we do that? And one of the things is, as I was saying, with our block program and programs that we had a number of years ago, that was one of the things that worked. And that was simply, it was, a neighborhood watch is what it was called. I was trying to think of the name of it. And maybe, I don't know if this needs to be revitalized or relooked at in some way, but it's another suggestion that perhaps we can relook at it and see what else we can do to help our neighbors and our friends and our families and protect one another in a good way without violence. And that's the important thing, is we don't want to be violent ourselves, but it's getting to the point is going to end up being violence meets violence, because that's not going to solve the problems by any means. And that's what seems to be happening with the states right now. It's just all violence, and that's not a good way to go. Everybody's going to go down, and it's not going to solve the problems by any means. And I'm not to say that any system is absolutely 100% perfect, no matter what's put in place, because there's always going to be some flaws. But it's important that we sit and talk and resolve the problems by talking it out and seeing if we can come to compromises, or will this work, or maybe we should try that. And that's why we have things like pilot projects, to see if that's going to work. So I think it's something that we really need to sit down and talk about with each other as human beings, and realizing that each and every individual is important. We're better than numbers, and that's, of course, what I always say the government considers us numbers because of our SIN numbers or our Social Security numbers. We're not just a number. We're living, breathing human beings, and we deserve to be safe. We deserve to be loved. We deserve to be cared for. We don't deserve to be abused or hurt in any way, shape, or form. And I think together, if we can just learn to work together, then we'll start resolving the issues. So I'm going to leave it there, everyone, tonight. You take care, and I'm going to put up the video. And just look at your neighbor and confront your neighbor. Shake hands with your neighbor. Say hello to your neighbor, or just even simply good morning as you're walking by with your neighbor. And it raises everybody up, because I know that's one of the things I enjoy, for example, is walking down the street and somebody says good morning to me, and then I just repeat good morning back to them. And it starts the day off in a very, very pleasant way. So I'm going to leave it there, everyone. Be safe. Watch your surroundings. And we shall talk to you again soon. And bye-bye. Take care.